Should we go live here?
Let's
I'm
do it.
ready.
All right, let's do it. There we go. We are officially live. Hooray! We made it.
All right.
We've done it again.
Against all odds, we're back.
Well, I hope I don't like cough and hack on screen. Like I'm hoping I can catch the mute button before if something comes up.
So a lot of people don't even know what we're talking about, but Kayargh was not going to be part of this live stream. He was going to be just behind the scenes because he's been a little bit under the weather. But yeah, we can't seem to get him to stop talking, even through being a little bit sick. So
I mean, I don't want to like really play into the stereotype, but I was man sick. Like that's the where it doesn't matter how sick you are, but it's like the end of the world. Like everything has destroyed your life, kind of sick. And that's what it felt like.
isn't that just like even having a hangnail for men? It's like not that we want to like gender stereotype at all, but
Oh man! All right, so what are we doing today? What's our thing? Because I missed Town Hall yesterday.
oh no.
'Cause I
we might
couldn't
have to bring you up to speed a little then.
Yeah, like I was so just done in brain mushness that I couldn't see the. Yeah.
Well, so when I thought that Kayargh, you weren't going to be able to join us, I reached out and sort of like sort of like forced someone else to kind of guest co-host. And the big surprise, which you already blew it on the link, but Fedit is here with us all the way from the UK. And say hi, Fedit.
Hi.
And so another big surprise also with us is Craig. He needs no introduction, so I won't introduce him. But you can say hi too, Craig.
Hi, two.
Hi two. Hi three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Terrible machine.
Yeah, that's like, I think we have do a shot every time Craig makes a like bad joke.
You know, it is Friday. We could wheel out the bar.
Yep, I think I
Just
think I know a couple
KR can't have any of that.
No.
I don't know. Maybe I'll purge my sinuses at that point.
So busy week in Blockstars land, huh? A lot of activity this week. But what I first wanted to start out with is Fedit, since you're kind of co-hosting. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into Blockstars, a little bit about your journey, maybe in crypto, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I've been gaming all my life. I've just been basically brought up on games. Started with a PS2 when I was like 3 years old.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Played some really bad games on that. Like I think it was like Psychonauts. That was really fun. I loved kind of Sonic games. Yeah, always been a gamer, and recently with uni and stuff, just stopped playing games so much. And with crypto, I saw the rise of Axie Infinity, and I really saw potential in people owning their own assets and their own like skins or whatever, because I played a lot of CSGO and I've owned a lot of CSGO skins, and I know what the demand and market is there. So I definitely see that could be applied all over in gaming and with NFTs and tokens and whatnot. So I'm very bullish on play and earn gaming and gaming in crypto in general. So Blockstars was kind of amazing.
Cool. I pretty much zoned out after you said you were 3 years old when PS2 came out. So that was pretty much all I could think about and how old that made me feel. So thanks.
I got your back. Time to do a shot.
I think I was younger. I think I wasn't born when it came out. I just started playing when I was about 3.
Okay, and just continue making it worse. Although Craig's probably the oldest guy here. in all of Blockstars, I would guess. 'Cause, you know,
I even if you bring the team into it, I think I'm the oldest one.
we won't go into age specifics though, because
I wouldn't want to be discriminated against.
Exactly.
I am a protected class at this age.
Okay, well, I am an ageist, a huge ageist, so we shouldn't talk about it anymore.
There goes the friendship.
I know. That's funny. But Craig, this week, like I said, huge week. It had to be crazy behind the scenes. Can you give us any kind of little details of what was going on and how chaotic it might have been?
So what's one of the most impressive things about being on the Blockstars team to me is, and this, we've talked about it a lot about going back to Zynga and blah, blah, blah. There's kind of like we all know how to work together. So even when there's a scramble for something like this, there's a method to it. So like a lot of things can be going on where it feels chaotic, but there's almost a calm inside of it because there's a lot of trust. For instance, the raffle page, right? app.blockstars.gg/raffle didn't exist this time last week. It didn't exist last Saturday. That was something that Kojo scrambled as we decided we were going to do this for sure and set our timeline. And while Kojo was doing that scramble, Nico and I and Sherry and some others, Eric and even asked Keo NFT guy, like, let's talk about what projects we might want to give the prizes away with, while we also, as you guys know, asked the town council the same thing, because we really wanted to make sure it wasn't like anybody can do a raffle. And that's one of the things Nico said in our wonderful Rug Town Hall. So we wanted to make sure that we had cool prizes that were enticing no matter who you are, without, having to have whatever the hot one was this week. So there was a lot of discussion, a lot of opinions, and this goes back to what makes me happy with the team. We cut right down to it. Like we talked about, do we do one super whopper, 200 sol prize, or do we do 200 sol in prizes, plural? And that's the path we chose. We felt it was more compelling, more interesting, a great way for people that haven't seen some of the top projects on Solana to kind of get a look at them. And that might have been the most boring answer for Chaos, but that was really, everyone just gets the urgency and works on it quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, just the first point that you raised about Kojo, that's kind of incredible. I mean, the raffle, you guys basically said, hey, we want to do this, and he just, I think Nico said it in the town hall, like he pulled a couple all-nighters and delivered, and that's amazing, really.
And what I think's, I guess, interesting and trivia that everyone should know, Kojo did that to protect the rest of the engineering team who are working on practicing and busking and other fundamental things. For the same reason, like Dave and the art team, everyone in art is working on that trailer. So we kept a really limited scope on who even knew about it at the start, just so that everybody else could focus on the work that needs to get done. And then as we got closer, it's like, hey team, here's what's coming. But it was really fun to do, despite the urgency and lost sleep, because it was something adding to our schedule, adding to the calendar, adding to the fun, adding to the utility, but not subtracting from the timeline on everybody wants to win game. This didn't put a dent in that at all.
Yeah. So the timing of the raffle announcement and sort of the liquidity pool happening and everything going live on Radium, that was coincidental, or was there sort of some sort of plan behind the scenes?
Even that part of it came together quick because we didn't do it, they did, right? And that's not a negative they. But it was much more, we'd been talking about doing a raffle, so this kind of created the urgency of, well, if someone's going to create a liquidity pool for roll, people are absolutely going to intensify the what can I do with this question, and this was not the week to release practicing, for instance. So it kind of took the idea that we'd half-baked of we should maybe do a raffle and went, this is a great opportunity to do one, because everybody's going to be looking at roll and going, what can I do with this? What's exciting? And then boom, here's a super killer raffle.
Yeah. So I think what happened with the whole LP was that somebody that I had never even heard of sort of just like shared a link, and I had no idea about it. I woke up, and it must have happened must have happened in different time zone hours. But I woke up and I think fed it. You were the one who kind of like clued me into it. So like, how did you find out, and what was your reaction?
I mean, yeah, it was shared in Blockstars General in just the server, and in the early morning for me, and so I was able to exchange like a small amount of roll for quite a bit, in comparison to what I'd get now for it. But yeah, I was I was quite shocked by the number, and I was just I was trying to figure out how to stake, because you know, I do believe in the project and the, you know, value of roll, and I do believe it'll go up, but you know, that's a whole nother talk to have.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic, and I think we got into some of that in the town hall. Kayargh, you missed a couple of topics that I think you would have had a lot to say about. You know, sort of, and I think is it Butang who kind of brought up the topic of farms and all that? I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Kojo was trying like mad to kind of weigh in on all of it, and having some trouble.
Yeah, I think he almost booked a flight from Austin to San Francisco just to go to the Twitter offices and yell. It was very, because he more than once spoke for like 5 minutes at length, thinking he's given a great detailed answer, only to find out we didn't hear any of it.
Oh no, really?
Yes.
Oh wow.
So sad.
Honestly, it was so bad. I'm glad we're talking, because there's a greater than 50-50 chance that it was so bad as a recording that we're not going to be able to put it up.
Wow.
Yeah. Even Craig, you were, for me anyways, you were cutting out like mad too. I mean, you were just.
Well, and everyone, to use a like, do you know about a delay pedal or echo?
Yeah.
Where like you say hey like that every single person that spoke, that's what I heard.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was just, and I guess this is a good time to share it. Pretty much starting next week, we're moving Town Hall onto Discord. We have a lot of live events on Twitter anyway, and so it's like, it's more of an intimate, you probably know Blockstars and have questions, or you're brand new but you really want to dig in. That's what Town Hall and Discord Monday are for, so we're going to put Town Hall on Discord just to get away from the fact that I think, especially with the Elon Musk announcement, there's a lot going on Twitter. We got bot followed like crazy in the last 24 hours. I don't know about you guys.
I haven't been paying attention to any of that, but that makes sense. I think the town halls and the Discord make way more sense to me, just because there were often times where I can't speak, but I want to ask a question, and it's like I have to go to Discord to do the live event chat, and then Twitter to listen to. I don't know. I like the interactivity, and if it's all in one platform, it works better for me at least. So I think that's good.
I'm so honestly, like when we do Twitter stuff, I have it running on my computer and I'm recording it, and I have it running on my phone so I can talk, because Twitter won't let you speak unless you're on mobile. And then I'm watching Discord at the same time for the chat. So yeah, I'm in the same boat where I'm like, I think long overdue.
Yeah, definitely. I think we all can agree on that. Having it in all in one place is good. And like Kayargh mentioned, or maybe you did, Craig, that I think the town hall, especially for me, it is sort of you're mostly appealing to people who are already part of the community. So I think it kind of lends itself to that. So Kayargh, what do you have any questions like about things you think you might have missed, or things we can? This would be a good way to kind of touch on town hall in general.
Well, I mean, I know I'm pretty adept at things like farms and liquidity pools and know how they work, but is there going to be, like, I hate trying to explain that in an easy way to newcomers who might want to be interested in something like that. Is that something that the Blockstars team has thought of and is interested in providing some education about, or anything like that?
I think it's like we tried to talk about it in depth pretty well. Like Kojo and Nico gave a lot up. And to be completely transparent, I've never been in a liquidity pool as a person. I get it. I know what they're for. But I was deliberately asking, like, what's liquidity 101? Why would you, okay, these people set this up on Radium. What is good for them? Why would they do this? What's their incentive? And those answers kind of got lost in the technical shuffle. And I think I'm going to call back to a couple weeks ago. Nico was like, we really would love to see like community wiki, community whatever to take this on. It's something that I'm very, very like with you guys, whatever you're doing, I'm always very available and want to be at least asked a question. And if someone wants to take that kind of stuff on, I would give them full support. We'd share it everywhere we could because it's a tough thing. And it's, bigger than Blockstars, right? What's a liquidity pool? That's not really a Blockstars question. It's just now Blockstars has one. What does that mean? And it's like, well, farm question, like we don't own the liquidity pool. So
right.
There's someone, right? So it's like, we could be like, we'd love a farm. That doesn't mean we get one.
Yeah, that makes total sense. No, I was excited to see the liquidity pool, and I mean, one of the nice things about it from us as a giveaway standpoint, right? We have that community giveaway wallet, and whenever we gave away a bunch of roll, that was always like my Twitter would just be flooded with messages of like, how much can I exchange this for, or what is this worth? And that was always such a complicated answer. And I did feel like there were people that were just in it for the money. I'm guessing, and that's, I understand that from a Twitter standpoint. But there were always the few that just like, well, I want to know what I won and what is this good for and how do I use it and where could I get it more of it and those types of things. And I think having a liquidity pool gives it some more validity in those conversations, as opposed to this is just another potentially meme coin in the Solanaverse of SPL tokens that do exist, but this has some legitimacy that I think it just helps a lot, and I'm excited to see where that goes with us with newcomers.
I feel like suddenly there's a connection of, oh, why should I even play this game? And it's, well, I can make roll and I can use that liquidity pool thing I learned about to turn that into Solana. It's like I could play Blockstars, and depending on how optimized things are, that might fund my speculative YOLO buys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and this is not me endorsing that like a week's play will get you a YOLO, but we'll find out, right? And so I can see where it's much better to mess it.
Yeah, the idea of playing Blockstars in general is to succeed and have your bands and your performers earn roll for you. And now the fact that that has a value in real world terms is kind of great. But the other side of the coin is also, now there is a place, obviously there was what was it, Famous Foxes, where you could buy roll at an exorbitant price. But now there's a place where you can actually buy roll at and it's
with a market deems fair price.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You read my mind. So I think that's cool, because I always had that thought, like, well, people coming in that don't have any roll, yeah, they can start their Blockstars busking and stuff, but and make some roll, but they're probably going to want more, and they're probably going to need more to do anything of consequence. So,
well, the only downside is that the airdrip stopped, and so I've stopped getting free roll, which.
Yeah,
I don't know about everyone else, but I do like free money.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah, sure.
I think one of the biggest things that was missed from the blog, and Nico wrote the blog. We always do it as a team, but Nico was the primary. And I even shared it this morning on the Discord server, is and the time is not locked down and the amounts are not locked down, but we did share before the raffle's over, all of the roll that's been used to buy raffle tickets, like there's this pool, a percentage of that is going to be redistributed to Blockstars holders.
Yeah, I saw that. Cranzini mentioned that last night. I was like, I must have missed something. What are you talking about? So yeah, that's interesting.
So it's like if someone really dumps their full roll balance into this raffle, or they're going to get a chunk. Everybody's going to get a chunk back. So it's like it can't ruin your gameplay. At the start.
You know what?
If you think about that.
You just kind of, because I was kind of being a little stingy on buying raffle tickets. You kind of just sort of changed my mind on that, because knowing that I'll get a percentage of it back, I can be in for a little bit more. So
Now,
And I can't-
is that percentage then based on how much you give? Like, let's say the percentage was 50%. I whatever. That's just X percent. Is it a percent that I gave in, or is it like here's
No.
the pool and we'll give back based on how much you own from the pool?
Here's the pool, and everybody gets an equal chop. And to make it more clear, let's say you've been talking to someone on the outside and they bought their first Blockstar today. They have no air drip, and so they don't have roll, and they're like, I see the liquidity pool, but I don't want to buy roll. So they just sit it out. If they're holding the Blockstar in their wallet, just like for the air drip, when we do this air drop, they'll get a chop.
And so is it based
So
on how many
is it-
Blockstars you
yeah.
have?
my
Just based on the size of the pool and the number of holders.
Number of holders.
number
I
of
don't,
holders.
and this is a good one to quality check with Kojo or Nico, because I could be wrong about the volume of Blockstars in your wallet mattering, but it basically, I know that even if you didn't participate, but you have the Blockstar, you'll get some.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would be good to factor in, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, we can look at the raffle. I've got the raffle up here. So who was the originator of what was going to be raffled? Like who decided these were the projects to go down?
Ultimately, Nico and I, we took a lot of advice in, and everybody had, like I said, we had kind of like left the team to be focused on their work, but got a few opinions. What's exciting? What are people talking about? There was like, we could have done it to gods or something like that, but I put together a list from all those suggestions, ranked them in current price order from highest to lowest, even threw in, I forget which one it was one of the metaverses where it was USDC. And then Nico and I kind of went through the logic bomb of, do we want to do one or a couple giant prizes or more? And we settled on more, and then just chopped it down and decided like this is a great moment to give out the first Origin token since they started as well. So we were very careful about looking at which Origin token we wanted to give out, so someone who's cool. And if you look at that list on the site, like, oh, you've got it up, yeah. That is actually the cost order that we paid, minus, of course, we owned the Blockstar, but all of those were based on their actual sales, air quote, at the time, what we paid.
When this came out, who was the one that actually clicked buy? And there's a reason why I asked. Was it Nico?
Yeah, so the way we work, we have our company wallet, right?
Yeah.
And we had the Solana in there from the mint and all the things. We set up a wallet for this raffle specifically for it, so it was clean. And it's like a clean monkey. Then Kojo had the keys to the company wallet, pulled it out, distributed it into the wallet that Nico held, and he did all the buys. He's CEO. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
So because he outbid me on one of these and got it.
and basically, like, there was a much lower chance of him, grabbing that wallet and rugging the company because he's the head of it. So obviously, we had no trust issue. Like, you guys could have, like, imagine your community wallet if you took that and ran right now.
Yep.
Everybody we'd hunt you down.
What community wallet? No, I'm just kidding.
All right, somebody bring out the booze wagon. We got to get started.
Kidding. I think that I have utmost trust in Kayargh, and I hope he does in me as well. But I think that
I'm still waiting
And
on
I
a
and
criminal
you-
record
you
check,
both.
but Oh man, no, I think these are really good projects. So these are all projects that not all of them. I think 9 of them are projects that I have genuinely looked into and been interested in. The only one I had no idea about was Lotus Lad. I was like, that one's new to me. I haven't seen nor heard of that one, but it's exciting because for somebody like me, where I'm like, often in these types of pools, it's like, well, maybe there's one or two. Like, I don't know. We have events here in my general area. We call them socials, is what we call them. They're for weddings, like fundraising for a wedding. It's like a giant party, and they often get really big prizes. And then you put your tickets into the prize, and you get 1 ticket for each prize or whatever. And I often win the prize that I least want, and that I'm least interested in. And so my guess is I'm gonna win the Lotus Lad. That would be my guess. My hope is I win one of the other 9.
Well, I mean, the only two that I am familiar with are the Blockstar and Drippies. Those the other ones I had no reference point on. Um,
I'm a recent drippy, and there's a few others that are like, for me, it's like the parade of projects I looked at and went, nah, that ain't gonna work.
Hmm.
And man, if I'd have just bought one, right? But
Right,
I'm kind of a snob about projects. I'm always looking at utility. Are they doxed? What have they done? And are they making the promises everyone's making this week, or are they making something that can hold its integrity no matter what's going on week to week?
Now, I'm interested in Fedit. So, aside from floor value price, is there a project of these 10 that you would love to get in on?
One of those projects, it's called like Blockstars.
Oh, I haven't heard of it. Can you tell me a little
Yeah.
bit more?
So it's playing an music management simulator. Yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty active in the Solana community, so I'm familiar with like all of them. I'm pretty yeah. Yeah, I mean, those are some pretty big prizes. I'd definitely get in on it because of the amount of raffle tickets isn't that great, and also it's only like about 160 entries from Twitter at the moment, so your chances aren't too bad at the moment. Yeah, I personally bought a Drippy yesterday or 2 days ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very excited for that.
I'm jealous again.
yeah.
Well, the raffle ticket. So let's say somebody's not in. I'm just gonna say. So the raffle ticket is currently about $1.09. So if you didn't have any roll, it cost you $1.09 US for a raffle ticket for this. That's not too bad.
For 10,000 roll is $1.09.
Yeah, that's what it currently priced is at. So that's pretty good. Like it's
That
$1 to get in on that. And currently there's only about $2,000 tickets in. So that's pretty good odds. Not bad.
Yeah.
It's
that's
any
pretty
one of those
good.
prizes off one ticket is definitely more than a 10x.
Yeah, no kidding. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, for sure. Because I think the bottom prize is probably 2.5 soul or so. So that could be like that, like one ticket. That's like 250x right there. So
So Craig, I have a question. When the raffle happens, is it so will you go pick one winner and then they get their choice and then the next winner gets the choice of what's left, or is there some other methodology?
interesting.
I'll answer that in a second. You made me look. The Galactic Geckos are now floor price 12.2.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They're usually around the 10 mark. They have been for at least a few weeks. But.
Nice.
So I'm actually the picker for things like the raffle. And what we do basically is dump everything into a spreadsheet. So every time you've entered, if you buy one ticket, you get one row. If you buy 10 tickets, you get 10 rows, etc. Anyone that qualifies on Twitter, they'll get one row. And then I use a randomizing website, I think it's org. You really want to look at it? Because I'd love to be transparent in this one.
Is it one of the ones that publishes your results so we can see them as well that way?
It does not, but I'm not really afraid of that. So I use their if you look at the free services under numbers, I look at their generator there, and it's just a generate X numbers from this, like, so if you look at this, I'll read it verbatim, and it's random.org/integers generate blank random integers maximum 10,000. So in this case it'll be 10.
Yes.
Each has a value from 1 to whatever, which is how many rows on the spreadsheet, format in however many columns. And I just format it in one column, and basically top prize is the first number, bottom prize is the bottom number. And if you want to think about what do I mean by top and bottom, top one's the DGen 8, Galactic Gecko is the bottom one.
Yep.
And the only wizardry I have to perform is no matter how many tickets you buy, you can only win once, which I want everybody to know very, very clearly so they can factor that into their how many tickets should I get. So let's just say, Kayargh, that you win the DGen 8 on the first draw.
Yep.
And the Catalina Whale comes up as you as well.
You're going to go to the next person.
I'm going to strike that, bump
Okay.
everybody up one, and then I'll draw one more number from the sequence,
So you're gonna
ignoring duplicates.
You're going to have 10 different winners.
Absolutely. And that was very important to us that we like, who doesn't love a whale, right? When you have a project, you want whales in and you want floor price to be $1 million and whatever. But honestly, we're a community. We want like 10 thrilled winners, not one.
I think that's wise. I actually appreciate it. Even though I'm technically a whale, I guess, in this space, I appreciate that.
There's still a perk for the whale, which is they have a lot more liquidity and resources to put into this, so they can go, I might only get one, but knowing that, I'm going to front load in. Well, that's my process.
I'd love to win all of them, but
Me too.
I also recognize that, like, I don't want to be a greedy person. Like, I want our community to be excited. I would love it. Like, I know there are some new members into the community, and they have like a small stack. That would be huge. I would see if at least one really new person ends up winning it and is just diehard Blockstars for life. I am in. This place has been so good to me. That would be wonderful.
I'm honestly super excited in advance for whoever gets the Origin token.
That would be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I hope it's not an Origin holder.
Because if you think about it, me too. No offense to anyone who is.
Yeah.
But it's like every week there's a couple people that always show up and go, hey, how do I get one of those Origin tokens? And the community always does a good job saying, well, you don't. But like, this is an important first for us where it's like, you don't, but you could try to win the raffle. So I'm really hoping it's either someone who's a super like diehard community person that we really all know, like, FedEx, you get your first Origin token. Or it's just a total shock for someone that understands what it is. That we don't, the worst case scenario, which would be, I suppose, great for people like you with all your tools, is they get it and they list it immediately for like 2 sol. And you're like, and the last one that sold at 10 sol. So that's how we factored it in. It was like, okay, the last one that went was 10. We'll call ours valued at 10.
Yeah. No, there's only one Origin posted for sale for 200 sol. So
yeah.
Well, we will all be happy should we get to the day where that's the floor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes and no. Like, there's the financial side of me that would be happy, and then there's the other side of like, but then it stops being accessible for somebody new coming into this space that doesn't have 200 sol to blow. So but maybe if Gen 1, that's the floor price, and Gen 2, the roadies gen is the more accessible. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting about Gen 2. Are you going to be able to play the game with only Gen 2 Blockstars? I would imagine the answer is yes, but it's still interesting to think about.
Like, that's not even a napkin drawing for us, although we talk about it here and there. And it's like, I have an idea in my head for what a next gen set should kind of be like. And for me, it's additive, where it's like, okay, we have all these genres, we have all these instruments. What else could we do? And I'll pick one that isn't my core idea just to be fun, but like, we're going to do the skate rock. So skateboards and those bands, which would be like, why did you choose that one? Because there's like 7 people. Now that Tony Hawk doesn't make video games, but like, imagine, some genre like that, that's very visual. That way the avatars would look cool and distinctly new. But they may not, like skate rock. Well, they need guitars, drums, and bass, and a singer. So it doesn't have to be too crazy. So like in my heart, I think if you come in at like a future generation of Blockstars, they should be just as playable.
Well, and I think like if I were to speculate, things that Kojo has said in the past, he's often talked about things like Hearthstone that have 2-year game life cycles, where if I had my deck of cards for Hearthstone in 2 years, they're worthless. Like there's so much power creep and there's so much that has gone on way past that the things that I bought now in 2 years, I won't be able to use them in the game. And he's talked about how much he hates that. And how he doesn't want that for something like Blockstars. My speculation then would say the Gen 1 Blockstars will always be relevant and potentially even more so simply because they've been around for longer. So they'll have been practiced up and things like that, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. I think they'll be like, you're like, I want the best guitarist in the game. It'll probably be a Gen 1 or, further down, a Gen 2 that's been 2 or 3 years of play. Have you looked at EVE Online? Like Adam and Eve Online?
Yes, I've looked at EVE Online. Of
'Cause
course.
if you want to get a peek into Kojo's mindset, he came from EVE Online. Like, and I'm an old MMO guy, and I love the PvP, everybody fighting each other world, but I never had the time to play EVE because of the spreadsheet nature of it.
Hmm.
But I was always impressed by these stories where it's like Cranzini joins your guild with, like, you and I have a guild. Cranzini joins. Cranzini spends a year. We're all friends, and we make Cranzini the treasurer, and then Cranzini dumps the treasury and runs with it. And like that's how meticulous the game is you can run a heist that you literally spend a real world year. Now Blockstars doesn't have that function, but if you think about what does it take to design that kind of game, that's where Kojo comes from. So when you think what would Blockstars potentially go to, it'd be a mix of that plus what the rest of us have done. So I really think, this is one of those years and years and years later, the game will still be very playable and your first tokens will be good.
And that's also the reason why I have the keys to the community wallet. That Cranzini.
Can't trust Cranzini.
I mean, to add to that, we can talk about the IOU tokens. I saw Nico tweet that the rarity of the burn block style will actually impact the rarity of the IOU token, which wasn't previously discussed.
Yeah, I did see that earlier today. Yeah, I'm wondering if Cranzini got rugged. To be honest, I'm not sure if she's speaking yet, so she might need to disconnect and reconnect. But what I really enjoyed about that aspect of it is that it changed my mind about burning Blockstars, and I'm kind of interested again and excited about, like, okay, maybe I will burn that 2-star singer that I have. I'll train them up, I'll burn them, and maybe, but then it's not like I'm losing money on it because I have the IOU, right? Yeah, I think that's
So
And
Cranzini
back
did
to
get
you.
rugged.
yeah. I'm adding her back into our call here.
All right. So may I?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna speak kind of like I'm on the project, but only like half player, half person on the project in this answer. What I like about it is this is one of those things you don't see. Like if you think about the airdrip we think the first time something like that's been done, and an IOU token where you burn basically, one of the lower capacity block stars. They should be able to play the game. If you get in on the floor, that's a very playable start. But if you have more than one and you're like, I'm gonna burn my flute player to make a better flute player, and the one you intend to keep gets better, and you get the IOU token.
Yeah.
And then we release a new set. If you already had one of the low ranking tokens that wasn't exciting, and on the next set you get another one, like that's not only did you get the parity of, oh well, I had a common token and I got a common token from the new set for no extra price, and my legendary token is now better at what they do. It's like the downside is really the loss of the art.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty mild downside.
I mean, if you scoop something up off floor, it might even be cheaper than next gen mint. So earning that would be like financially maybe,
a very
Absolutely.
viable option. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Well, and I'm thinking too about like that art, like loss of the art. Like I really, really do hope, like in my mind I envision Animal Crossing. And when you become good friends with one of your residents on your island, right? They give you their little picture, and you have that in your home, and because you're friends. And I think that's one of the sweetest things of Animal Crossing. And I'd love
Absolutely.
to see something like that. I've got my Blockstars office, and I've got my the ones that didn't make it, but they're still treasured, and they're there. They're in my office. I've got a picture of them. I will remember them always. I'm sorry I
Animal
fired
Crossing.
you.
No, those photos are the most perfect grind I've ever seen in a game. Because you're like, oh yeah, my buddy's leaving the island. I got the photo. This is great. And get me another one. I'll grind for their picture.
Yeah.
It's like but it feels so good. It's a
I
perfect
will make
grind.
you love me. Need me to do a favor? Absolutely. I'm in. I got a favor. I'll do anything for you. So long as you.
Hey guys,
Hey, you're
Yay.
back.
Back.
I'm back. Catastrophic problem with the computer.
Well, you are back. So we talked all about your criminal nature.
Okay.
And why I have the keys to Community Wallet. You'll just have to re-listen to the video to see the context of that.
Okay, great. No, I'm all good with that. I was going to segue while we were talking about all these, while we were talking about games and gaming and play and all that. I was going to segue into a big, something big that got dropped during the town hall that you might not be aware of, Kayargh, and that was week, not months, was mentioned.
Oh, so like
Yes.
there was no S.
Weak.
Week, not months. So, Craig, do you have any? Do you have anything to offer on that?
What a
It's
sneaky,
so unfortunate that the recording was lost.
Oh
That's my
no!
statement. I would say in the town hall, Sherry had like called out that like their internal testing is happening.
Yeah.
So like if you wanted to take that and go, what's the timeline? We're close. As experienced developers, you're always going to find us hedging on time because it's very possible today that something might get found where it's like, oh, and then we got to throw it back to engineering and or change the design because the output didn't match the spec, like the goal of whatever. Like you find out the violin players are broken. So we're always, you only get one shot with the community to put a date down, and then you're Cyberpunk 2077.
I think the
Not
only
the violin
suggestion.
player.
Yeah. This one suggestion I was thinking of was maybe it might be wise for us to create a ticket system on the Discord for bug reports. Simply because I know that we can put it in like feature feedback or various other Discord channels. But I'm the type that finds game-breaking bugs or exploits, and I would hate to post something like that there to have somebody else then use that until it gets fixed.
Don't you really mean you're the kind of person who breaks things?
I do try to push things to their limit to see what happens.
Okay.
As
Part of the fun.
Yeah. There was a game, Tiny Star Wars. It was a mobile game. One of those.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. I broke that game to the point where like it can no longer work on my phone because my score was so high that the program couldn't handle the size of the float that my score was, like the number that my score was, because I found an exploit to.
I've been the part of more than one game team that couple years in, they're like, the economy got out of control. What do you mean? Well, somebody's approaching a number that we can't process. and then like a chunk of the engineering team is now, that's their job until they fix it, while trying to keep the development pipeline going, while not letting a person hit that. Actually, Farmville trivia. When I was at Zynga, we had what was called white glove customer service for customers who spent 5 digits or more. Like, I forget the qualifying number, but if they were calling us, they had a lot of money invested in one of our games. And this woman had invested a lot of money in our games, and Farmville specifically, and she was her name was not Karen, but she was very insistent that we fix that for her. And honestly, as you know, like, yes, this is a customer that put down serious cash. The game probably should work. But the white gloves customer service got so frustrated with her communication approach. Look at me being all safe. That they went, "Lady, working for you," and just blew a stack on her. And then she got to the CEO, and then it came down to me in the Farmville studio because I'm the head of community, and they're like, "Well, customer service bombed." Honestly, I was like, "You spent how much?" "Well, okay, yep, you're getting all of my attention right now. You're the perfect customer." And it turns out that was the bug. Well, she was the perfect customer. She bought everything and put it on her damn farm. If you think about that isometric angled view, everyone's a little square. There was a horse or a sheep or a crop or flowers everywhere. And that was the core problem, was she actually bought everything we asked her to buy and put it on her farm, and the farm broke. And then when the engineers is like, "Well, that's like a 1 in a million chance." And I'm like, and she paid over five figures to break it. Fix it. And that's
Yeah.
what we did. But like, so I'm up for a ticket system. If you break things, if we, fun thing about our Discord, Kojo is such a good CTO, and I mean this literally. I'm not being sarcastic. That I don't put bots on until he and I talk, because he's very concerned about our accounts and security. And like I got on Mint Day, someone had gotten me. I don't even know what I clicked, but I clicked something, and we don't want to blindly run forward and do something like that. So if you want, slide me a bot you're really fond of, and I'll talk with him in the next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it might be something we can launch before practicing gets out. Who knows?
Because I mean, I was gonna say, because I'm probably going to find something, but then at the same time, I'm like, but I know that Kojo and I think a lot alike in logic formats, and so he may have anticipated those things, and so it'll be interesting. It'll be a cat and mouse game, I guess.
It definitely will be interesting, and especially when you finally do break it for everyone else. It'll be,
hopefully not.
It won't be that interesting.
Not.
But
The fun part of your caper is that Kojo came out of EVE Online, where people invest a year in socially engineering a hack. So you're up against someone that's good.
So to give some context to what Cranzini is talking about is that before the app.blockstars.gg came out, we could view things and we could look at that. There were members of the town council that also got to see that beforehand, and so a bunch of us were looking at it, and I spammed the server too much, and they reached their limit. Like, they've since changed it and fixed it, but so now Cranzini does not let me live it down that I broke it.
Yep. Definitely.
Which is fair, but yeah, I'm glad that it would happen in town council though, and not to the public. That's my big thing. So
Yeah, definitely glad you broke it in town council.
I do remember Kojo being like, "Oh, that was you. Yeah, okay, I can see how you did it." And
So, to transition to another topic potentially, Kayargh, is there anything you got that you might want to sort of preview?
oh, well, do you want me to like show what I've been working on, or just talk about what I've been working on? Because it's ugly right now.
Yeah, it's ugly. I mean, I did my best giving specs for the UI.
I just haven't implemented. I've been sick all week. Okay, I'll just talk about.
I
I'll talk
know.
about talk about what I'm working on. So
Talk about it, yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I've noticed, like, I've brought in a few new people to the game, and just to the Discord and to that, there is a huge learning curve. What do I buy? Like, what's good? And ultimately, like, a lot of the question ends up becoming like, well, it's speculation, but it's not totally. Like, there are some things that are known, but the information is all in different places. And so, like, if you go to Magic Eden, we're going to look at some Blockstars. If you're new, how do you know what to buy? How do you know, is this a good Blockstar? Magic Eden does not have that information. And at best, they're going to have the how rare, and you can see the rarity rank, but the rarity rank isn't totally relevant much anymore either. And so how do we bridge information like their skills and things like that? And yes, we built the Oracle so that people could go and see that and that, but even this is several steps, right? So if I'm going to look up, 6917, I go here and I've got all of the skills, I can see the stars, I can see some of the sales history. This is still a lot of information. I kind of need it a little bit more concise. And so what Cranzini and I thought was, what if we built a page that looked a little bit like Magic Eden's marketplace? So you can see all of the stuff that is listed on Magic Eden, and it also shows you how many stars this thing has. Like, what's its current star? What's its max star rating? What are some of the top skills that it has? Is this an origin block star? Is this, and all of that information, kind of bridge the two and say, here's the marketplace that has all the information about this block star and the price and the link to go and buy it from Magic Eden. So we're kind of bridging all of that stuff together so that if you're new, it's like, oh, I want to find like, what's the cheapest 4-star block star that I can find right now? Well, we could be able to show you that to you. I want to find the most expensive 2-star. Sure, that I don't know why you would, but that's there. That would be possible. So that's what we've been building mostly all week when I haven't been sleeping for most of the week.
Hopefully you've been. By the way, I want to, you make me remember, I want to share, like, Man Sick, that was an awesome throwdown. Because whenever I get sick, I prefer to hibernate through the misery. So you made me feel like, oh, there's someone as a kindred spirit.
Oh, man. Yeah, well,
So
yeah, go on.
just to take us back a little bit to the live chat. We have a couple of notables. Ruby Waves is out there.
Oh, hey, Ruby. Hey, buddy.
Top Lobster.
Oh, I haven't seen Top Lobster in a while either.
And Sherry as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Too many windows. Everything. Yes, of course.
Yes. So just wanted to say welcome to everybody. Thanks for being here live. And we were just showing some new stuff that we have coming up. Were you you weren't going to do any visuals on that, right?
No, because it is really ugly. Like, it
Yeah,
works,
I think so too.
but it's just really ugly.
It's not that ugly.
Beta.
It's not that ugly. I think, when you ask me for UI designs, I do them, based on what I think is visually nice, and I don't always think about. I shouldn't say that. I sometimes try to think about, okay, well, what could he possibly, have success with? In other words, like, are you going to be able to replicate this easily? So, I think in this particular one, you're very close. So, it's not. But you're right; it's not ready for prime time. So
No, I should have that ready to go before practicing, because my goal is that I want, now that we have something that somebody can actually play and do something with, I want to give somebody that introductory experience that is easy to help reduce some of that curve, so that more new people can come into the game. That's my goal.
yeah, that's a good goal, and then you know what? It's incentive to come back next time we have another live stream, and
Absolutely.
we do have something to show. We'll we can put that out there as a little carrot for people.
We did add a stats page just to see, like, the weekly sales, what we've seen for weekly sales over the last little while. We have seen, which is interesting, since the 22nd, so that'd be since this last week, sales have seen probably, like, the number of sales per day is close to 2x. So, like, there's been a lot more Blockstars selling. Like, just a lot more volume going through in terms of that. So I thought that was really
It's kind of cool to see it on a graph, because people in the Discord, when they see the sales bot, you can kind of feel it, but seeing it in a hard graph is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I love you guys did this, because I watched the bot for who's buying, and, like, we have several new friends. Like, I've seen usernames I've never seen before, and I always chuckle when I see, like, one of you guys buy something. I'm like, you know too much. But it's nice to see the stats page and see the visual take on it, because otherwise you're just counting while you scroll 1, 2, and this is much more informative for the trending.
Yeah, there's I was very pleased earlier this week. I've got my first organist, and it was a 4.5-star organist that I got for floor price. That I was very happy about, because I do not have one yet. So that was my big buy this week. I was very pleased. Only to discover, I'm sure my children will call dibs on it, and I won't get to use that Blockstar. So that also
right. Well, I think you called out one a guitarist that I bought. Only sadly, it's not for me. So I'm having a little bit of trouble releasing it, though, for the person I bought it for. So we'll see what happens there. But I still do not have a 5-star. So
okay,
that's something I'm looking for. So maybe.
Well, and here's a question for you, Craig. So was it yesterday or the day before? I had posted in the marketplace chat, basically, here's the cheapest 5-star, here's the cheapest 4.5-star, here's the cheapest 4-star, and here's the cheapest rock bottom wage, if that's what you're interested in. Is that something that you think would be useful for new users that are coming in that might not have that option to know to look for those things?
I mean, so I'm an Alexa user at home, and if I could say, Alexa, give me the Blockstars minute and get stuff like that, I think it'd be super useful. And as a new person, like the fact that you give it that content, this is the cheapest person you can buy, meaning their wage. Oh, good, I'm just getting started. I missed that roll drip, whatever they talk about. I actually need to think about, that. Like that is a strategic decision, right? So I think it's useful.
Okay. Then I'll
Yeah.
keep up at that for sure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
if you could have that be something that's dynamically generated, and then we can have it posted on the website, and then just have the link be there all the time.
Yeah, I like that. Look at you
Yeah.
thinking. I like
Look at me thinking. I know.
front page of the website. cheapest, current cheapest 5-star, 4-star.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
And
too.
cheapest
That'll be
guitar
cool.
because everybody wants to buy a guitar.
There's so many ways we could go with that. So that's cool.
I love it. And just
So-
congrats out to Top Lobster in the chat. He started a new job. He's learning Rust, which is an exciting time. That's cool. I've been learning
Oh.
Rust myself, so yeah, I love it. Fun stuff. We can share notes if you needed. That'd be fun.
Nice, very nice, very nice. So I think Fedit at the top of the show, you were talking about how you're at uni, like that. By the way, I'm gonna always call it that from now on. And you said you were studying psychology and criminology. How
Correct.
far along are you in that?
I'm currently over halfway done with my foundation year, and then that goes into my first year, which is like an official year. Yeah, so not very far.
I kind of expected that you were going to be in a techie profession or pursuing a techie profession.
No, I'm not so good with like maths, but I love games. So.
Okay, mathematics for the rest of us.
For the Americans. Go on.
Exactly. Okay, fine. That's what I really meant for the Americans. I think the thing about you, Fedit, is because of the generation that you grew up in and are continuing in. I think it makes you seem a lot more techie. I think just by virtue of your age.
I mean, yeah, we've just my generation has just grown up with tech, and I expect them to adapt and adopt Web3. But at the moment, it's currently viewed as kind of a weird and odd thing to be interested in, just by my generation. So I wonder when the transition will be to when that's just the norm. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I wonder when you're gonna talk about being in the NFT and crypto world, and people aren't gonna look at you like you're crazy or you're like some visionary or crackpot. So
It's sooner than people expect. We need to find the halo for this Xbox. There's gonna be the Farmville for social media gaming, honestly. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be one thing, and that's kind of why we chose music on the blockchain, right? There's a lot of tech that it offers that's cool, and music's universal, which we say and almost sounds like a slug at this point, but it's true. In the chat for this now, Top Lobster's learning about that every time their name comes up, I hear the B-52s. It's coming sooner, and it feels like there was a point where you go, why do I go online? And your answer would be well, you get into these communities with other people that like the same stuff you do. And everybody look at you like, what? And you pay for this? You think about the AOL days, right?
Yeah.
It feels that weird right now. And if you're young enough that you were never a part of the AOL days, not only was it a source of free CD-ROMs, but it was that weird.
Coasters.
Yeah,
coasters.
Best coasters ever. But it was you were weird to a degree, and then suddenly you weren't.
Right.
I guess that's my point.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I not to drag on the conversation because I know we're coming to an end here, but I was looking at a project that I saw, I think on Magic Eden, and it looked right up my alley. It was it was like a Western town, and you could be like a saloon owner and all this like cool stuff. And so I was like, oh, this is great. And I read the white paper, and towards the end of the white paper, they were breaking out like their target audience, like by market, by age bracket. And the very last age bracket was 50 plus. And they basically said, the gist of what they said was, we don't really care about this age bracket. They're not our target. So, low priority, not important. And I closed the white paper and just, that was it. Not
Right.
interested.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's ignoring. It's like I was in a chat earlier this week where they're talking about what is the core gamer like demographic, and it's like that's such a facetious question at this point because everybody,
Yeah.
like my mom doesn't play solitaire on Windows. She's 70 something. I'll be polite. But she plays games on the internet. Like they're all bejeweled clones and stuff. But literally, someone's making advertising money off of that website, right?
Yep.
So. That's you can't really peg an audience. I've worked with the core gaming audience, like the EverQuest world. It was adults in their 30s and older. And women were the best retention players. Same thing with Farmville, obviously. But that's a weird one to do in your project. Because right now, like Solana, there's so few people in the ecosystem. What's my demographic? Someone that knows how to buy Solana.
Yeah.
I want them to know Blockstars exists and that it's fun. And, that's a qualifier.
It was so short-sighted on whoever wrote that white paper. Really not a good move, but so short-sighted. I think one of the Twitter Spaces from this past week, there was a question sort of similar about who are gamers, and someone answered, it's everybody from your mom sitting in the waiting room of the dentist office playing Candy Crush all the way up to the hardcore World of Warcraft or any of those, types of games. And I thought that was a really great answer because it's true.
It's such a limiting mindset. Can I tell a tech story from Silicon Valley?
All right, let's wrap up with the tech story.
Because this is exactly that point. I was in an office with a company. We were moving out of that office to a bigger one because we were doing well. And the owner of the building was walking people through to tour. And this was back when it was, you darn millennials are ruining everything. That was, how long ago it was. These two guys come through and they're dressed in crack bag gym clothes. Like not even nice streetwear or anything. And they're looking at the place for a lease and the realtor's like, and you get to keep the under the desk lockable little mini lockers. And they're like, oh, we're making a mobile app. We don't need physical stuff. And I'm like, are you going to hire females that have a purse that they need to stick somewhere? Or anyone that carries a purse they have to stick somewhere and secure it when they go to a meet? It was such I was like, someone handed these people investment money to build some kind of app and they don't realize that their employees might want to lock their garbage up. And let's just say they did not make it.
Yeah.
You can't limit your audience.
No, you can't. And I think that's the great thing that we found in the Blockstars community is that we have people from all different walks of life, all age groups, and everybody's kind of just bonded around Blockstars.
I'm excited myself because I've said it before. My two kids are excited to play, and I'm using it as an educational opportunity for them to understand management and timelines and time management and kind of min-maxing those things. And I'm excited for them to really get into that. And I know that I'm not the only one. And I've also seen my kids get so some of their best friends are people that don't live anywhere near us. There's a few that are children's friends of mine that they've never met in person, but they play online games with every day.
Yeah.
And that's what they look forward most to. And so I'm excited to see if that opportunity presents itself with Blockstars as well, for my kids to find a community of other awesome kids that love music and love this game. That's my goal. I'd love it.
Very good. Very good. Lofty goals.
So make it happen, Craig, head of community. Going on.
I know, right.
Ship it.
All right, let's wrap it up here. I know some announcements from me. Want to say by all means join in on the raffle. We've got some a fun giveaway coming up. We've got lots in the giveaway wallet. I think we're just over $200 US in the giveaway wallet, and that includes also that doesn't include the $200. Another Blockstar. We've got a Singer 3-star, 3.5-star Blockstar that you could easily play the game with solo. That's all you need. We're gonna give that away. We're really excited about that. There's the raffle with Roll. Be sure to pick that up. And there's Liquidity Pool where you can buy your raffle ticket. Essentially, you buy your Roll, and then you get your raffle ticket. You go to the site app.blockstars.gg/raffle. Anyways, what else we got?
Like and subscribe and tell your friends. A big, humongous thank you to Fedit and Craig for joining today. Really great conversation. And oh, hey, Callie, you're here. Nice. So she's also a newbie. I tried to talk her into joining, but maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Sounds good.
Yeah. So everybody, thanks, and Kayargh, sign us off.
All right. Well, take care, everybody. We'll see you next week, and rock and roll.